Hey, look which one I got. Look what I got.
Here, Elizabeth, go choose a pretty color that you like.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid,
a podcast where we watch your kid shows so you don't have to.
We are your hosts, Diane and Gabriele.
So come, be a kid with us. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid. How's it going, Gabby?
I'm doing great. I'm a little nervous because this is our second time doing the whole, only one of us watches it and explains to the other person thing. And last time, I got to watch it and explain it to you, and I made you dress up as medieval, and you didn't know why.
Yes.
Because we were reviewing Wish, but she didn't know what Wish was at the time.
Oh, I do now, though. And if you guys don't know Wish, or if you think it was a flop for different reasons, or for whatever, go watch our episode. Gabby clears it up.
And I explain with the best logic ever how Star is actually 11. It's great.
Yes. But now it is Gabby who's in the hot seat.
I was told to dress like I was going to summer camp.
Yes. Because I watched a brand new released movie this week, and it is Woodpecker Goes to Camp.
Oh.
Okay. Why is it funny?
Because I think I was not...
The disappointment in that oh.
No.
Well, you thought I was going to cover Camp Rock or something?
No, the thing is, I wasn't expecting birds.
So, where's my phone? Okay, she was wondering what to dress up as. And so she pulls out this outfit, and it just so happens to look exactly like Woody Woodpecker.
Okay, this was the first shirt I thought of in my closet when she said, dress like you're going to camp. And I was like, this looks like something I could wear to camp. And so I'm like, I brought other shirts too, so I'm going to Diane. I'm like, if this was my first thought, what do you think? Should I bring out the others? And Diane was like, you do not need to bring any other shirt out. That is it. You look just like it.
You guys can't see it on my phone.
Okay, but I'm also because I'm wearing blue here.
Yeah, so Woody Woodpecker has like an orangish reddish hair top. See, Gabby, and then he's got blue bottom half. And so she keeps talking like, hopefully the character that I'm dressed as is chaotic or runs around, or like hopefully I look like them.
Because I'm so bright. It's like,
a
little bright.
She thought she was dressing like a human today.
I thought I was like gonna be some 12-year-old boy, to be honest. I kept asking him like, what do I need to do? I need to put on any makeup for this? Like, what are we doing?
No,
and she goes, no, go simple. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm like a little boy. And then she said something like, unless you have green eyeshadow. And I was like,
because he's got green eyes.
I was like, maybe I'm not a 12-year-old boy. Not that you can't put on green eyeshadow as a 12-year-old boy. Yeah. I'm just confused.
Camp at camp.
Camp at camp. Oh my god.
This episode's already off to a great start.
I love this format for us.
I'm so excited, Gabby, because it was actually kind of a funny movie.
Okay. So, wait, where is it streaming?
It is streaming on Netflix.
Okay.
It is a new Netflix original. Okay. I did some research afterward, and they have another movie that was released. I actually didn't see where that's streaming at. My bad. Oops. So this is a second movie. Oh. But our boy Woody Woodpecker has been around for quite some time. He was created by the same guy who created Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Oh.
And he is actually the mascot of Universal Pictures.
What?
Our boy Woody the
He's the
Woody
mascot?
Woodpecker.
Man, homie, I don't see you around.
I know.
For someone who's the mascot, I don't really be seeing you around a lot.
I know.
I mean, maybe you are. You're a little... Is he shy?
No, he's not. No, he's not. And that's his problem.
Oh, well, maybe you should get some green eyeshadow and, be the mascot. I don't know what you're hiding for.
I know. I loved it so much because I was ready to go back. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Take me to camp.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Woody Woodpecker Goes to Camp is half animation, half like not. So he is animated.
Okay.
So he's his little cute little cartoon character. He's living in the forest that is live action. Thing is, nobody likes Woody Woodpecker. Nobody likes our boy Woody.
Makes
He wreaks havoc. So it starts out where he's in the forest and this like influencer dude is like filming a video with like ring lights and like his friends have like a tripod with like their iPhone on it and stuff, and he's like, come over to Camp Kyle or whatever.
Rad,
and he's like, wait till you see the amenities. It's a yurt, and it's like this little like tent. You know, they're like yurts or like the
never heard that word in my life.
It's a camping term, you know. It's basically like a glamping sort of big tent thing. Okay. And he goes inside. He's like, it's got a massage thing, and like it's got like a boba bar, and it's got like a TV with nature on it, so you can remember where you are. Kind of, it's like a glamping thing.
Yeah.
Woody's having none of that. He's like, I want you out of my woods.
Exactly. As he should, honestly.
So he picks a fight with this guy who doesn't seem to mind fighting a bird.
Are they like sparring with words or with
both? It's like slapstick comedy too, which is great. So it really keeps the theme of like Tom and Jerry type, like the really Roadrunner, like the old school cartoons where the, you know, it's got that like funny mayhem, like anvil falling on you kind of thing. Okay. So like at one point they're both in the tent fighting each other, and his friends that he's with are like, what's going on? And then the tent collapses and it's just the door to the tent left. And then the door falls forward, and it's like the guy. It's like the Kyle guy. And he's just defeated. And Woody Woodpecker's like, "Yeah, that's right. Get out of my forest."
Wow, he took down an entire boba yurt.
He took down a whole influencer, and you know that's kind of tough to do.
That is tough to do. Influencers have a lot of grit. You know?
They really they'll fight an animated bird, man.
Yeah. No problem is too petty for the influencer.
Yeah. Gets Woody in some hot water, though. He gets sent to the ranger's office, Ranger Walters.
Oh.
Yeah, so all the humans are live action.
Huh.
And all the set is live action. Woody is the only one animated right now. So he basically is getting told by the ranger, like, we can't stand your behavior. You're not a team player. You're wreaking havoc everywhere, and we're basically... all the other animals have signed a petition. They want you out.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was he fighting with an animal or was he fighting with Kyle? I don't know if I'm feeling this ranger right now.
Exactly. He was trying to keep the forest clean.
No, you can't just vote him off the island. Like, come on.
Honestly, I was on Woody's side in that because I was like, I don't want some influencer bringing some glamping thing
I'm on Woody's side. This is like a whole shark movie scenario where it's like, oh, the shark's the monster. Is it? Or are you on his turf?
Basically, you know, I completely got it. I was like, Woody, you know what? But it sets up the theme, which is teamwork. So he is like, the ranger says, you need to show me that you can be a team player if you want to stay in your woods. I'm like, he's getting kicked out of his home. The forest is his home.
Listen, fam, I'm going to try really hard to get on board with this teamwork theme, but I have a feeling I'm going to naysay it all the way home. Team Woody, you're going to have to really say something to make me not be on his side, because right now, Kyle can go somewhere, because I don't like it.
Exactly.
Take your boba and get out of my woods.
He gets kicked out of the office. Okay. And he is like, I don't need to be a team player, basically, what you're saying. Like? Yes, basically. And so he's like, I don't need to what am I going to do? Like, he wants to take the shortcut route, essentially, be like, how can I make them think I'm a team player? But like, you know, really my way or the highway kind of thing. And it's so funny because then he's like, I wonder if there's a place I can go to learn about teamwork. And he turns around and there's a sign for Camp Woohoo. And it says, a place to learn about teamwork.
Woohoo!
So Camp Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Woohoo. He goes into Camp Woohoo. He's like, this is going to be easy. I can go in there, ask them to tell my boss that I'm a team player, and then I'll be on my way.
Oh, he's not even trying to. He's just like,
no.
Will you sign the permission slip form?
Yes.
Wink, wink.
Yes. So Camp Woohoo is basically the camp for misfits. Weird kids that don't fit in. They're kind of uncoordinated. There's one.
Is that what you are? That's what you're dressed as?
Because I'm weird and uncoordinated.
If the shoe fits.
And the shoe does fit. I am dressed as a camper. So he runs into who will be our main live action human, Maggie. And she is trying to make like this catapult thing out of a piece of wood, and it's just not working out. It's like arts and crafts, and she's not good at it. She starts talking to Woody as if it's so casual to talk to an animated bird.
Well, that was what Kyle was doing.
Yeah, I just thought it was odd that she wasn't like, what are you doing here?
No, because Woody be causing such a ruckus that everyone knows. He's like notorious
Everyone
now.
knows. Everyone knows. Yeah. So they kind of, she gives him the rundown. This is Camp Woohoo. My mom runs the camp, whatever. They have like a cafeteria scene, which is really funny because Woody really wants all the food. And he's like, sorry, everybody, the buffet is closed. I will be eating it all. He does sound kind of like that.
Woody, was he actually trying to eat it all? Was
he literally found like a wheelbarrow and loaded it up with food.
Okay, well, that's not very good, Woody.
Yeah.
Now another point down. Let's say we start at 10 points, okay?
Ooh.
If I get to 0, no more Team Woody. So we're at 8 now.
We're at 8? Ooh, okay. So the mom, Angie, comes out and is like, get out, Woodpecker. Get out of my camp, kind of thing. She's not really about it. She is played by Mary Louise Parker. I'm not sure if you know her, but she was in a very famous TV show called Weeds back in the day. And basically, she was during that show's run period, she was an absolute babe, like Hollywood A-list kind of TV. And the TV show had several seasons. So she's like the one famous actress that they got to like market the movie nicely, kind of. You know how you need like one kind of like famous,
sure, yeah,
or like even if they haven't been in a lot of stuff lately, someone with like a little bit of clout.
Yeah,
like,
not
really...
Kyle ain't got no clout.
No.
Yeah,
no. She comes and she's like, you need to get out of here, because Angie is stressing because Camp Woohoo has all of these infractions and they're about to have an inspection, and one more infraction and they're going to close down the camp.
Okay, well, Angie, isn't the whole camp for people like Woody? Isn't the whole camp for I'm going to help you be a team player?
Yes.
Maybe it should get shut down if you can't help our boy, because if we're at 0 by the end of this episode, I might blame you, girl.
She can already see that Woody is going to be a problem child. He's already kind of creating a mess.
That's your clientele. Stop advertising it like that.
One would think. Maggie goes on to tell him about the history of the camp, because they aren't the only camp. It's so funny, but there's a literal white line divided on the lawn, and then the other camp is right next to it. They are quite literally split in half. And that camp is Camp Hoorah. It is like a military-styled camp where all the kids like have their stuff together. Basically the polar opposite.
Okay.
Long, long ago, Grandpappy Obadiah Mallard.
Oh, what a name.
Found that land, or took that land, whatever. The land was his. And he created this kind of camp and lodge and everything.
Is he a person?
He was a person.
Okay, because Mallard, it's giving duck.
I know. Grandpappy Obadiah. So he called for his 2 sons to come and see this land and build on it, and like, I don't know, I guess open a kids camp. I don't know. But he passed away before the brothers got there, and the brothers started butting heads about what it would be.
Okay.
One brother was an artist.
I love bad brother blood. I love it.
The other brother was like a military man.
Oh,
so they divided the land evenly. And since then, Camp Hoorah and Camp Woohoo have been rivals.
Well, why isn't Woody at Camp Hoorah?
I think he'd get kicked out faster than he got kicked out of the forest, to be honest.
No, I feel like they would see it as a challenge. Like, I'll make a man out of you,
Yeah. So Angie, the mom who runs the camp, is cousins with Zane, who is the man that runs Camp Hoorah. And so rival cousins, rival camps. Literally split down the middle.
Amazing.
They even have a gymnasium, and it's split down the middle.
Oh my gosh. If they weren't related, be like a great Hallmark romance.
At first I was like, do they have to be? They're giving a sort of a...
Let's just, like, rewrite this movie.
Yeah.
Let's just...
They're giving a little more than cousin vibes.
Oh, are they? It's very Life with Derek.
Camp Hoorah basically is all about Camp Woohoo being shut down. Every year they have sort of like a battle. So they have different competitions to see who gets the trophy at the end of the summer. And every time, Camp Hoorah wins.
Every time.
Every time. So at Camp Woohoo, like the main children, bunching together, there's one kind of like a goth girl that's all like likes creepy stuff and death, very stereotypical. There's your stereotypical girl that loves video games and like virtual reality. There's one kid who like does DIY stuff that doesn't exactly always go as planned. Another kid that like does math and calculates the statistics of them winning the game, which is like 1 in 5,362 kind of thing.
Oh,
that he's for a 6th grader, very advanced at math. And one kid who is terrified of heights but loves birds. He knows all about birds. They'll come back. But
Okay.
that's basically. And then there's
Woody's gonna push that kid off a cliff.
honestly,
Not gonna love birds anymore.
not gonna love this bird. That bird. That's Gabby's the bird.
Oh, that's how you want.
If you're a bird, I'm a bird. Stop! You're distracting me, Gabby. I'm doing such a good job. Okay. And then there's Maggie, and she struggles throughout the film, not knowing what her gift is, not knowing what she's good at.
I see you, Corinne.
Yes.
I see you.
Yes. And she does a pretty good job, like our girl Corinne.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
cute little teenage actress. Like she's doing okay. Especially because it would be really hard to film, like pretending to look at an animated creature who's not there. Because they animate Woody in.
Yeah.
So for her to be this, 14, 15-year-old girl, she does a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's a bad guy. And you'll never guess.
The bad guy isn't...
The bad guy's not part of Camp Hoorah.
I feel like we met, 3 bad guys already.
No. There's, kind of a mean girls at Camp Hoorah. They're like, yeah, nerds. But even they're kind of weird and awkward.
That's why they're mean.
Don't know what to do.
They know. They're like...
Yeah. There's the inspector, the park ranger inspector. He is a walrus. He's animated. He's a walrus. Casual. And everybody knows he's a walrus. It's very casual.
Well, then what happened to the park ranger?
That's a different park ranger. I think that's the
There's a lot
human...
going on at this park. They got a lot of taxes up in this town.
Honestly. This guy just does inspections.
Okay.
Walruses, that's what they're good at, obviously. And then there's the bad guy, who is also animated. He is a buzzard.
I don't even know what that is.
His name is Buzz.
What's a buzzard?
They're like the giant birds on the side of the road waiting for the roadkill.
They're like rodent birds.
Yeah, kind of. At first I thought he might have been like a bald eagle or something, because he was had white and black fur. But his name was literally Buzz. And I was like, buzzard.
No.
And it's so funny when he comes in through the bushes, and that's when we meet him, and he literally takes off an orange jumpsuit that says prison on it. So he's fresh out of the slammer.
This movie has bad PR for birds. This is...
I just love how there's a prison for birds. I don't know.
What did Buzzard do?
I don't know. We just know he did hard time. But he's bad. Bad news.
Bad news. All right, well, why is he the villain in this movie? What's his damage?
Supposedly, somewhere on Grandpappy Obadiah's land, there is a giant hidden thing of gold. And Buzz wants it.
This is so holes.
Buzz wants...
so holes.
Buzz has this map, and so he wants to go in there and shut Camp Woohoo down.
Why is there always gold on these campsites?
I don't know.
Why didn't we know this when we were kids? We could have been rich. We could have struggled. No one tells you this as a kid.
X marks the spot. I get it now.
I didn't realize. Oh.
I get it now. Treasure maps, I understand.
We really missed out. We were playing Red Rover. What were we even thinking?
Honestly, Nicolas Cage, we get why you stole the Declaration of Independence. I would go hunt a map too if it led me to gold.
Dude.
Honestly. So
I would follow the rainbow all the way to the end.
Low key, Buzz heard some rumors in prison, and he was like, all right. And he's at one point he's even on the phone with I don't know, mysterious person. and he's plotting everything. And he even says like, "Of course the map is real. I got it from my cellmate in prison, and if I can't trust him, who can I trust?" It's so fun.
Buzz, come on.
It's like, of course it's a real map. It's so funny. But he is trying to convince the cousin, Zane, who runs the military camp, to get all of the land, shut Camp Woohoo down, and then blackmail him into giving Buzz the camp so he can search for the gold.
Okay.
Because he wants it for himself.
Right, because he can't search for gold while there's a bunch of kids there, because that looks creepy and weird, and you would go back to jail.
Yes, and that is where throughout the movie the funny slapstick comedy comes in, where he's trying to like make them lose. Like at one point he's like, they're out on the lawn. He says, "I got these Brazilian fire ants that are illegal in every country, except Brazil." And he goes to like try to launch them at the kids. And Woody the Woodpecker does something weird, funny. He like throws a tire up in the air and it lands on Buzz. So he's like tied up like this with the tire, and the thing holding the ants explodes on him. Aww. So then he gets attacked by the fire ants. Aww. And just funny things like that over and over, where he tries to like, so he's buying all these weird things, and the cousin is signing for them, thinking that he thinks that Buzz is the new cook. Buzz goes in there and goes, "I'm your new chef. I'm the cook."
He knows Woody only cares about food up in this joint.
And Zane is a bit too trusting. Little too, "Okay, Buzz, you look good job. Oh," and he's like, "Oh, so this is like a meal delivery service. I like your initiative. Yeah, I'll sign for it." And it's all these like weird like explosives and like, things that are illegal. And
you would think Zane would, because everyone has their ish together in this camp, you would think that he would like read a document. No, he's not. A funny thing about Buzz is he's got green skinny jeans on. I just found that funny. Oh, he breaks out of prison and then he's just got these weird green skinny jeans on. But like Woody doesn't have any. What if you told me to just wear green skinny jeans? What's my outfit today, Diane? Green skinny jeans. You don't need to know anything else. The kids at Woohoo have like zero self-confidence. The Woohoo kids do not have decorum because Angie is only, in my mind, and the way you're telling the story, is half present because she's so freaked out about all these infractions and her cousin that she might be in love with. She's got a lot going on, guys. Angie's got a lot going on. And I think she's a single parent. You're like, there's no Angie. Dad. You're still Team Angie. Well, I'm Team Angie because on the day that the inspector comes, that's when Woody comes to camp. And Buzz is trying to get Woody in trouble. So Buzz comes over to the rec room at Camp Woohoo and basically gets into a fight with Woody, and Woody destroys the rec room, thinking that he's going for Buzz, but Buzz is doing everything on purpose. Angie walks in. So like Marvel superheroes. Angie walks in, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Woody, you are out." Like, because that was when Mr. Inspector Walrus is with her, and he's like, "Ooh," and she had just fixed up the place. So she's like, "Woody, the camp is shutting down because of you, because you could not listen." Okay. How old is Woody? Is he a child? I see. Listen. Like one. I don't know bird ears. I don't know. I know that like we gotta teach kids. Maybe it's just because I'm not a mom. I know that we need to teach kids behavioral stuff, but I don't know. I feel like that would be so traumatizing. Like to me as a child, hearing the camp is ruined over shut down because of you. Okay, but he's a bird, so I think it's okay. They come to like a decision, like a thing where she's like, the walrus, she's like, is there anything I can do? And he's like, "I'm sorry, this is like your last chance." She's like, "I don't want to have to shut this camp down." I don't know why the camp is still up, really. I don't know why she's holding on to it. She doesn't seem like she likes it that much. Like, babe, go I think she does say that she likes that it's a place for the kids to be artistic and to let it shine and everything. I get it, yada yada. They come up to a thing where they decide that whoever wins at the competition between the two camps, like if Camp Woohoo wins, the inspector will basically let everything slide and they can make the repairs. Like basically he's giving them like 48 hours to get their stuff together. Okay. And somehow so
the walrus is going to be the judge, like the
Oh my
referee.
god, this is such walrus math. This doesn't make any sense. So, hey, you win the football team, like whatever.
The 117th Wilderness Games.
You win the wilderness games, and you know what? I'll just pretend that this is a safe environment for children. We'll just like let it go.
Yeah. The walrus shows up as the referee, and apparently he's wearing some short shorts, and they point it out.
Okay.
And everything. And I think, and that's like funny, and he's like this big guy, and he's like, all right, let the games begin. Like, I think he's just really wanted to participate. So he's like, you know what? Everything will slide if you just let me participate in the game.
Oh my goodness.
There's even like, so the kids are like, there's no way we're gonna win, because Camp Hoorah wins every year, because it's kind of like the rigged games too, like it's like arm wrestling and like, you know, canoeing and stuff like that, and the kids are like, we can't do this. The games begin.
Woohoo. Oh, or should I say hoorah?
Hoorah.
I don't know whose team I'm on, really, to be honest.
Well, right now nobody's on Woody's team, and I'll tell you that.
All right.
The games begin, and automatically they start losing. They lose at canoe racing. They lose at they have a scene where they all do arm wrestling. It's so funny. Every kid, like the ones I described to you, like the 5 like main kind of secondary character kids, they're all sitting down, and they have like the arms at the ready and everything. And as soon as he blows the whistle, every single one just goes, and they go, all right, we'll just give the point to Camp
This
Hoorah.
is so sad. I feel like
So
teen
sad.
games are so like traumatizing.
It's so sad. And so Woody is trying to like prep them, but he's still not a team player at it. So he's trying to prepare them for canoeing, but he's not doing anything really. He tries to help them with like an obstacle course, but they're all just like stumbling along. And so the more points they get, the more Buzz is like, yes, good, one step closer to my evil plan. Maggie, they get to a point where it's an obstacle course, like a ropes course. And Camp Hoorah obviously finishes it in like a minute. There's this kid, the girl who loves video games, she's the one who is supposed to do that next for Camp Woohoo. She's like, I can't do this. There's no way I can finish it that fast. I'm not coordinated. Maggie comes up to her and says, hey, you love video games, right? Think of this as a video game. No one's going to beat you, right? And then she's like, you know what? And she sees the course, and it like makes it look like it's a video game, like Ready Player One, and locks in. She beats him. What? She does it so fast.
Oh my gosh, it's like, what's that movie about the kid? He like learns how to, he like race cars and like that video game simulator, and then he actually physically races and like beats people.
Yeah, basically like that. But it's Maggie who was like, hey, I know your strength. Here you go. You should play on it.
Okay.
Whereas,
so what's Woody's strength? Can Max figure out Woody's strength, or is that?
I don't think Woody has many strengths. So everyone is surprised. Angie, the mom's just like, oh, yeah. She's freaking out. She's loving the kids.
As
She's
if
like,
winning
oh
the battle is
God,
going to win the war. Come on, Ange.
At one point, they have a cute little classic food fight.
Oh, we love a food fight.
It's so funny because the kids Maggie gets pudding thrown on her face, a thing of pudding, and she goes, I'm not putting up with that. And then they start having the food fight.
I love a pun.
And Angie comes in and she's like, hey, what are you kids doing? And then she starts like getting in on it too. And she's like having fun with them. Like, cause she wants them to just have fun, because she's like, they're gonna lose. Like, I love my kids.
This is their last year of camp.
We're gonna have to call their imaginary parents that don't exist, you know, kind of thing.
What do you mean their parents don't exist?
Oh, but they just never mention the parents.
Oh,
these
God.
Kids, like, they're just
like
at
went
camp.
From summer camp to orphanage real fast.
They're just at summer camp. They're not mentioning like we have to go home, or like your parents will have to pick you up.
Oh God.
They don't have parents.
Okay.
So then the next one is Ride the Boar, and it's basically like
mechanical bull.
It's like basically, but like the opposite team like is trying to get you off of it, so they're like swinging up and down and everything.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So
a little chaotic, but
yeah.
Fun.
So the nerdy math kid, it's his turn to do that one. Maggie goes up to him and is like, hey, think of it as a math equation. So he like calculates the velocity or whatever of, I don't know.
I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So it's funny because he gets on it, and everyone thinks, because he's this like tiny little kid, everyone thinks he's about to get flown off because they're swinging him every which way. And he's just like holding his notebook that has calculations on it. He's just like, and then it goes to 30 minutes later, and the rivals are like so wiped out, and they're like, all right, he wins.
It's like Ice Princess, where she like uses physics to be a figure skater.
Yeah. The DIY kid is able to, they do potato rockets, and he's able to, like, I think he like wraps a napkin around the potato rocket and says why that's going to help it make it go farther, and it goes twice as far. So they're like, good job, point to them. The bird kid I thought was really cute. Maggie goes up to him because he's terrified of heights, and he has to do this like rock climbing wall, essentially. Okay. And Maggie's like, just pretend you're a bird.
Okay, I have a quick question. Why are they choosing the kids that are the worst at each activity to then partake in said activity? Like, why is that what's happening?
I think because they're all bad. So I don't think it matters what they do.
So the kid, she's like, be a bird. You're a bird, I'm a bird.
Strap in,
back
kid.
to the Notebook. Okay.
Basically. He doesn't win this one, though, because Buzz is like, they're winning too many. They're catching up. So he greases the top
of the ironic situation, because he loves birds. And birds keep messing his life up.
Yeah.
Why do you love birds, my dude?
Yeah.
It's time to find a new love.
Yeah, same. So he literally... So they're climbing this rock wall, but what he does is he crouches down so he's got all fours, and then he crouches down with his arms, and then he goes, and then goes up and grabs the next one.
I was like, if I were Maggie, I'd be like, not quite what I meant, but like, okay, we can.
But I guess since he's like flinging himself up, like, and like skipping half of the like rock climbing parts, like I guess he makes it so he's gonna be in first, but then he slips at the end, and Camp Hoorah gets that point.
You know what? That's good though, because we got to keep the kids on their toes.
Yes,
the kids watching.
So now they are 1 point behind.
Oof, anyone's game.
Or 2 points, 1 or 2 points behind, and they're about to do the last one.
It's
the next day.
One, isn't it?
It is capture the flag.
I detest capture the flag.
I love capture the flag.
Maybe that's why when you were like, do you have any camp memories? I was like, I think I blocked them out. Summer camp was not my gig, you guys.
Yes. But before that competition, I forgot about Scary Goth Girl, like stereotypical.
Okay. Oh yeah, she had to like walk through a field of lilies and butterflies or something.
No, so at night there's a scary story competition, and she is writing in her notebook, but she doesn't want to share any of the stories and stuff. And so Maggie goes up to her and is like, "You can share your stories." She just goes, "Like I don't want to have to. I'm scared to be who I really am in front of like strangers. You know, like I'm scared they won't get me or something like that." And she goes, "It's okay. Like you can do it. We believe in you." Kind of gives another pep talk. So the girl goes and sits and tells a scary story. And apparently at the end, everyone is so terrified of whatever the story was. Even the grown-ups are like, all right, let's just give the point to them and go to bed and sleep with the lights on. She was
probably like, I'm scared because when I tell them the story, they're never going to be the same again. I don't think you understand.
They're going to be scarred.
Like, the reason why I don't talk to y'all is because I spend my time talking to the dead, okay? Like, this is going to curse them. Are you sure you want me to tell this story? That's what, in my headcanon, that's why she really didn't want to tell it.
Exactly. At one point, when Maggie, in the beginning, I forgot to say, at one point Maggie is showing Woody basically like the campus and everything, and they're in basically like the gymnasium, and they're looking at old stuff that Obadiah had, like artifacts and everything, and Woody sees like this like gun, but Maggie's like, it's a flare gun, it's only used for when you're in absolute emergencies. And Woody's like, okay, that's cool, I still want to play with it, but like whatever. So Woody throughout this is not really being that much of a team player. He's not really like helping a lot. So they're about to do capture the flag. That is the one strength that Camp Woohoo has, because they design and make like this big artist like fort to hide the flag in, with like a bunch of illusions and like decoys and stuff. And they're like, this is the one thing we are really good at. Like, we might not be like as brawny, but we've got the brains and the artist component, and we can do it. Buzz is like, I need them to lose. He locks Woody in a freezer so Woody can't get out and warn everyone that Buzz is basically trying to manipulate the game. Buzz destroys the kids' fort that they made right before Capture the Flag. So before it starts, they have to place their flag, and it's out in the open now. So Camp Hoorah can come and steal it with no defenses because they're not that great.
Yeah, because Woody also is dying right now in the freeze. I don't know if I'm past that. How long does it take to freeze to death if you're a bird?
I don't know. Everyone's discouraged. They're like, there's no way we can win and capture the flag now. Maggie is like, super sad.
No one's worried where Woody is?
No, they like kind of forgot about him. Not gonna lie. They're like, whatever. The kids are like, you know, like, we had fun at camp. At least we won some categories. And Maggie's like, well, at least you guys know what you're good at. I don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't know why I even exist, kind of thing.
Gosh.
And they all stand up and they're like, you're our leader.
Oh, cute.
The only reason we won is because you helped us figure out what we were good at.
That's
and you gave us these pep talks. So suddenly she goes into leader mode. And she's like,
oh, she picked up that title real fast.
Real
she was
fast.
like, okay, bet.
okay, back to work then. Thank you. I needed that little pep talk.
Here's my crown. You just put it on real second, a little shift, and we can go back to business.
Yeah. So they come up with a game plan to distract like the other camp and, you know, trick them, distract them. So one by one, they have less players because if they get caught and tagged, they're out.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, so eventually there won't be any other Camp Hoorah players left and we can just walk and get their flag. Easy peasy. Because we already know the first thing they're going to do is just come straight to get our flag. We know that ahead of time. So she's giving them orders of what to do that still go with their creative paths,
Right.
you know. Meanwhile, Woody is trying desperately to get out of this freezer.
Yeah.
Buzz is trying to unalive Woody altogether. And so they are at the end of Capture the Flag. They get Camp Hoorah's flag. And they're like, all we have to do now is run back to base. And we win. And that's it. We win the game. And they need this to keep the camp alive, mind you. And then at the last second, they're about to run back. And they see a flare gun go up in the sky. And Maggie turns. And somebody goes, was that a flare gun? And Maggie's like, Woody, I told him he could only use a flare gun in real emergencies.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the flare gun doing in the freezer?
I don't know. He got out and they're like fighting, but they're still like in the kitchen. So I don't know where the flare gun came in. I don't know. Maybe he ordered a flare gun.
And in the freezer.
I don't know. He's out of the freezer now because he's fighting. He's fighting with Buzz.
Okay.
Basically.
Oh, he's out of the freezer?
Yeah, because Buzz is like, time to get going for good.
Oh, that's what you meant by Buzz is trying. I thought you just meant like by keeping him in the freezer. Buzz,
No.
homie, would have just, he would have, you know.
This weird
You didn't have to do anything. Just keep him in the freezer. That's enough.
This weird delivery guy comes and lets Woody out of the freezer.
Oh.
But then Buzz just comes right back in and is like, oh, I gotta get rid of you for good now, kind of thing.
Oh,
and he's literally has the stove on and he's basically trying to like warm Woody up, you know? Like,
oh my goodness.
It's funny because Woody at one point goes, oh, I almost frizzed myself. Like,
Oh my god.
cooking bird. So Maggie is like, we have to stop the game and we have to go save Woody. And there's one kid, the video game girl, is like, literally says, can't we just run this past the finish line first? And she's like, no, we have to save Woody.
Okay, no, Max.
And I was like, I'm
can't one of us at least run this by the finish line and the rest of us can go get Woody?
Because there's a whole camp.
Yeah.
It's all the campers.
Exactly. Do they
She's
all
like,
have to cross the finish line? Like, can we just have one person be like, okay, you're flag girl, and
No.
then the rest of y'all, let's go?
the whole point is teamwork.
Oh, good.
Gabby.
Goodness.
That's the
See,
point.
I told you I would not be on this theme. I told you I would not be on board. Anytime there's a teamwork theme, I am never with it.
So, and my thing is throughout, we're at this point, we're getting towards the end, and I'm still like, but where is Woody's teamwork?
Yeah, what is the whole reason why we need to learn teamwork? Woody's stuck in the freezer. Woody's stuck in the frying pan.
I don't know.
Movie.
I don't know.
Okay, so
they
everyone...
capture Buzz, and at this point, it's both camps in this like kitchen together. And Zane, the cousin, the guy who runs Camp Hoorah, is like, "So you're not a cook?" He's like, "What are you guys doing, tying my cook up?" And we're like, "Can't you tell? He's literally looks like a bad guy. He's a buzzard.
He's wearing green skinny jeans. Why do you trust this bird?"
Did you not call his references?
Honestly.
Like, come on. And so they hear about the gold. And Angie's like, that's just an old tale. And Maggie goes...
She's like, do you think we're stupid? If there was gold in this camp, do you not think that we would have found it, my dude? Do you think we're really just gonna sit here and play the Hunger Games?
The
Sorry.
wilderness
That is
games.
not what I meant to say. I mean,
Pedal
Buzz
back.
might be playing the Hunger Games, but
I'm picking them off one by one. She's like, guys, that's not real. It's just a myth. And then Maggie comes out and grabs the map that Buzz had and was like, Mom, no, look, here's like a treasure map. And for
what is with everyone having faith in treasure maps? Do I just need to make a treasure map right now and give what is going on? No, look, Mom. This is the third character so far. He's been like, treasure map.
So apparently, and then it's just made known at that time, we're almost done with the movie, that apparently both camps have their own treasure maps as well. And so they try to put it together in like a puzzle. Not really a puzzle because there's really only 2 maps. And they find out the third one that Buzz had isn't a third piece to the map puzzle. It goes on top of them. And it shows where X marks the spot. Like it's like an overlay, like a transparent overlay.
It's like an involved one.
Yeah, it's involved. Okay. And it turns out it has been a little closer to home than they thought all along.
It's in the freezer.
It is in the gymnasium where there is a statue of Grandpappy Obadiah himself, which is where Maggie and Woody like kind of first met when she was showing him around the flare gun, the artifacts, telling him about the history and everything.
Right.
Buzz hears this because they're plotting, they're coming up with a game plan with the bad guy still in the room. And also not very well tied up.
I thought that y'all were the smart ones.
Yeah, so Buzz basically gets undone, and he's like, haha, good thing I planned ahead, and he, like, presses his button, and it shuts all the doors, all the windows, so the campers and their adults are all locked inside.
See, that's villain stuff. That's what I was waiting for, this villain to be a real villain. And listen, like, it's a little chaotic. You put a chaotic bird in the freezer and trying to fry him. It's a little, like, cartoony, but you locking people, you locking minors, children in a gym, and their adults, yes,
everybody.
Let's go.
Buzz locks them in. At this point, you think, all right, Woody's gonna come up with a plan, right?
Right.
You want to know what Woody's plan is?
Go. Just...
He might lose it. What point system are we at right now? Because he might lose some points. Right.
We're at a 7.
7.
It probably should be lower.
He might be at like a solid 3
but
after
I
I tell
think
you.
it's because everyone else is also being ridiculous that like he just stayed at 7.
That's a good point. And also, he kind of like dipped out for like half of the movie.
Yeah,
it really wasn't about him.
Also, once you get trapped in a freezer, you know, I've been. I know you're gonna want to. I've been trapped in a freezer before. I have been trapped in a freezer, so I can relate with this bird.
Can anybody else relate?
I was a kid when I got trapped in the freezer. Yeah. We went on a field trip. Real quick anecdote. We went on a field trip to the grocery store. Why? We went on a field trip to Publix. You Florida girls out there, we went on a field trip to Publix, okay?
I love that. Like, how old were you?
I was probably in, like, 2nd, 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did one to the Red Lobster.
Oh, bet. And then...
They just don't do field trips like that anymore.
And then in 5th grade, everyone goes to St. Augustine. Like, right? Yeah. Florida, you didn't go?
No, we went to the Keys. Florida Keys, which is pretty great.
That's pretty great.
Not in 5th grade though. I think I was in like 6th or 7th.
No, in like 4th or 5th grade, everyone goes to like St. Augustine for like a field trip. Anyway, Florida.
We went to the forest in 5th grade.
Please comment if you grew up in Florida school system. What field trips did you have? So basically, we went to Publix for a field trip, and they were showing us in the freezer because they were like, "Look, kids, blah 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 blah." And
here's
then
where
like,
we keep the processed deli meat.
Exactly. And we walk full on in the freezer. And personally, I'm not for it. I'm like, this seems kind of like a liability. Like, I'm a child. Like, I was very much like, why are we doing this to kids? Even as a kid, I was like, what are we doing? So I didn't like that we were walking in the freezer, but we were walking in the freezer. All the other kids were like, cool, it's cold, you know? And I was like, get me out of here. And the door closes, and then there is an adult with us. So it's not like an adult trapped us there on purpose. There's an adult
so you weren't alone.
We weren't alone, but like the adult messed up, and like we got locked in the freezer. And I remember thinking, no. I was like tapping. I was like, no, you're gonna have to get me out of here. You know how when people like get trapped in elevators, they start freaking out. That's what I was.
It's like that scene in The Office where like Dwight does the fake fire and everyone freaks out.
Exactly. I was like, let's get out.
Can you imagine being the teacher and it's like, hi honey, how was your day? Well, I got fired. What for? Locked some kids in a freezer.
I wish I remembered this teacher's name because I would put you on blast right now. But she was freaking out. And
she wanted to be there less than you did in that freezer, honestly.
So we just like start banging on the freezer door and someone does let us out. But yeah, for a moment I was trapped in a freezer. So I think I like vibe with Woody on
Woody
this,
right now?
which is why he only lost like he lost the point for when he was fighting Buzzard. He like wrecked the unit.
Right.
But that's it, you know?
That, and he's just really not helpful.
He's not helpful,
with
but
the
like
kids.
that I gave him a point back because like he got trapped in a freezer and they didn't even care about saving him. And honestly, I think the only reason Maggie did care about saving him was because Maggie's trying to be a leader all of a sudden. Like Maggie like wearing the crown now. I don't know if Maggie actually cares about Woody.
Got some Maggie haters in the building.
Sorry.
Well, good thing you're not dressed like her today.
Listen, I'm not trying to no tea, no shade, Maddie. I'm sure you're great. I'm sure you're great. You know, you're our Corinthian in this movie, and I'm sure you're great. But I don't think anyone likes this bird.
No, not really. Because his idea of getting out of the shutdown kitchen that they're locked in, he goes, I have an idea. And everyone's like, awesome, finally. Woody's going to help us. He's going to be team player. Even I'm like, okay, this is the part where he learns. He goes, somebody build me a time machine so I can go back in time and wrap up Buzz better so he can't get out of the binds.
All right, yeah, you do lose a point for that. That's, you know, this whole movie, Woody, you've been chaotic, you've been messy, you've been selfish, but you've not been stupid.
Everyone is like,
what?
No.
Even Math Kid is like,
that
I've already crunched numbers and that's actually impossible.
Actually impossible. Yeah. He does crunch some numbers right after, though, because Maggie has an idea. She notices that Buzz did not close off the vents from the stove. You know, there's like a range on the stove and it goes all the way out with like stove.
Not me looking at the stove trying to figure out what she's talking about.
We don't have that in cheap New York apartments.
I don't know what she's talking.
We don't have that.
Oh,
this is
I think I know what
you
you're
know, like
talking
in
about.
dust,
The fan.
the fan. It's called a range.
Okay.
And where do you think the air goes, Gabby? Back into the.
Well, where does it go in these cheap New York apartments? Why do we live here? Get me out of New York. Get me out of here.
That's what the kids are saying. I have great pivots today. It's funny you should say that because the kids are saying, get me out of here. And she goes, it's big enough for Woody to get out. And they're like, okay, but like Woody can't get all the way out of there. And that's when the math kid crunches the numbers and he's like, well, he can with the velocity and the speed of yada yada if we attach him to the fire extinguisher. And the adults are just like, this plan rocks. You guys do what you want to do. Woo. And so they're like, but there's no way we can move the stove out of the way for him to like get a jump start. And so that's when Maggie looks at the like kind of meanish girls from Camp Hoorah because they're locked in there too. And she's like, we can if we work together. And they're like, okay, bet. And they shake hands because I guess they're the muscle. And everyone kind of pulls the stove out and Woody goes and flies through the range, roof, whatever, vents out of the camp, back down onto the other side of the doors. Okay. And he goes, hey, this is interesting. There's some loose electrical wires here. I wonder what that does. And he like kind of like steps on it or bites it or something. And then he goes, and then the doors open.
Like, you know, I'm a little disappointed the doors open so quickly because I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like they couldn't get out of this building and good old goth girl is like, y'all want to hear a story?
Well, she was just like, cool, we might die in here.
Yes.
So the entire time this is happening, Buzz is digging a hole into the gym where
because this is holes.
Yes,
dig
where
X digging.
Like, you know. Anyway, and he finds a treasure chest.
Oh, sir.
So I was thinking they're gonna run in, they're gonna stop him. No, he gets it out of the gym, and then his prison buddy, I think his name is Darren.
He has a prison buddy?
Yeah, you know, the guy that gave him the map, the super trustworthy
prison
buddy.
Yes.
Who also somehow broke out of prison, is flying a helicopter over the camp.
How convenient.
How convenient.
How convenient.
And so Buzz, there's the ropes coming down the helicopter, and Buzz has wrapped the treasure chest around it, hooks it, and is like, let's fly, boys. And
I love Looney Tunes math, because I just feel like in these shows, and I didn't watch a lot of them, but I think because the logic never checked out for me as a kid, I was like, what? But it's just literally, you want it to happen, we'll draw it out, let's do it.
Exactly. And so Buzz gets into the helicopter. Woody tries to get into the helicopter as well to like fight them, you know, like having a brawl. And then meanwhile, the kids and a couple of the two adults are trying to unhook and unlatch, you know, the treasure chest.
Right.
Because there's a big hook and like it's all wrapped up and everything. Woody's unsuccessful. He gets thrown out of the helicopter. And the helicopter starts to go up with the treasure chest. And all the kids are on it and everything. And they
Come
get
on,
off.
Mags. Let's go, girl. Miss Leader, what you got?
Maggie has her belt loop get caught on the hook of the treasure chest. And so she starts to get pulled up with the treasure chest, and the helicopter's going up, so she's going off the ground 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet.
This actress and her parents had to sign so many waivers to be in this movie. Oh my gosh.
And she's just like, Mom! And the mom's just like, Woody, we need your help.
Wait, Woody's just watching this? Because he already got kicked out of the helicopter. Is he just like, oh, oops? Like,
so Woody has had the vendetta against Buzz, you know, because Buzz tried to, like, you know, fry him. And so he's fighting Buzz, and then he looks down because he hears this commotion. He sees Maggie is stuck and floating in the air because the helicopter's flying away. So instead of fighting Buzz, he decides to go and save Maggie. So he saves her. I think he like does his woodpecking.
We're at 6, we're at 6.
Yeah.
So.
He does his woodpecking or something, and he gets her unlatched, and she falls, and the cousin and her mom catch her.
Okay.
And then Woody, something happens with Woody, like I think Buzz like hits him or something, and Woody falls, and Maggie catches him, and he kind of passes out. And then when he comes to, they're back in the gym. And he's like, whoa, did we get it? Did we fight him? Did we win? Kind of thing. And they're like, no, he got the treasure chest. And they're like, what? They're like, yeah, he flew away in the helicopter. That's pretty much it, kind of thing. Woody is so mad. He's like, we wanted that gold. We're going to have to shut down the camp. He's kind of sad that because he's like realizing like, I messed a lot of things up, you know? And they're trying to be like, it's fine, Woody. Like, you're good. You're still like, we love you. And he's just so mad that he starts woodpecking at the statue of Obadiah. He starts woodpecking at it. He says, I'm so mad. He starts pecking more and more at like the leg. And something shiny kind of comes through. Woodpecking more and more.
This is such a good lesson to kids. Kids, you get upset, you just throw yourself a little tantrum, and you might find a different treasure.
You might find that the gold was the entire statue.
Oh, well, what was in the treasure chest?
Buzz gets the treasure chest open while he's in the helicopter, and his buddy Darren, whatever, who's a human, by the way.
Oh,
he looks back. He's like, "Well, how much gold do we have, Buzz?" And Buzz like moves open. Then he goes, "Rocks." It's a treasure chest full of rocks. And then suddenly, the guy who was flying the helicopter comes around. And he's like, "Rocks. Let me take a look at it. Maybe they're like special rocks. Maybe they're golden rocks." Looks and he goes, Buzz, they're just rocks. I thought you were getting us gold. And Buzz,
you're the one who gave me the treasure map, mister.
Buzz looks behind him to where the front of the helicopter is, looks back at Daryl who's next to him and goes, and I thought you were flying the plane. Because
oh my gosh.
Nobody's flying the helicopter anymore.
My gosh.
So they go and they start crashing, which is so funny. And then they go and they uncover that the statue is the gold, is the treasure. Okay. And it has like Obadiah like holding a plate, and it says, it's engraved being like, you know, if you found this, it's because you used teamwork and determination to get there.
No, it's not. It's because he got angry and pecked at a statue.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, y'all, listen, for the creators and writers of kids teamwork stuff never checks out.
Yeah. So Grandpa, the whole time, just wanted everyone to be able to work together. And he even says, like, at the end, they were like, also, I was able to do all of this because of my good friend Woodith the Woodpecker the Third, or something like that. And Woody's like, I have an ancestry. I guess because he's the only woodpecker in existence.
Oh.
I don't know. Basically, they were going to split the gold. And then Zane and Angie have, like, a heart-to-heart. They have a little they hug it out as cousins. And they're like, you know what we could do with this place instead? They do like a high five, and then it's like a little montage scene. They combine the camps. Mm-hmm. And the new name of the camp, they're like,
Camp Woorah.
You're not far off, Gavin. Maggie is like, we have Camp Woohoo, and we have Camp Hoorah, and together we combine it to be Camp Woohoo-rah.
They should just call it Camp Hooray or something. Camp Woohoo-rah? That sounds like, oh my gosh, what does that sound like? Woohoo-rah. That sounds like something. Woohoo-rah.
I mean, hoorah is what the Marines say. They go hoorah. It's a military thing.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Which is like why I kind of was on Camp Hoorah's side. In the beginning, I was like, that's actually really good. I like that a lot. Angie comes forward and she's like, you know what? She goes, Inspector, like, how does everything look? Can we keep the camp going? He's like, yeah, I'm just a walrus.
Wait, where'd the walrus go during all of this chaos? Where did the walrus go while they were locked in the freaking gym, while there was like helicopter? Where did he go? Because they were playing Capture the Flag. Walrus was the judge. Walrus should have been there. What happened to him?
I am so glad you asked that, Gabby. At one point, they cut back to him when they're stuck in this, in like the kitchen. They cut back to him, and he's literally at the end. He's literally at the end.
At the finish line?
At the finish line. He's literally like looking at his watch. He's like, oh, where did everyone go? And how do I get off this platform? Because it's like this weird big platform, and then he like looks forward and he falls down. He is a really adorable walrus. At first, I thought Woody.
Team walrus.
I am. At first, I thought, I even have it in my notes that in the beginning of the movie, I thought like Woody was like the only like talking animal thing, because when the walrus got out, he looked like he could have been a human with just like weird like tusks or something, and then because walrus have tusks, like I thought maybe it was like a goatee. I thought it was just a really ugly human. I thought he was a human because Angie was just so chill talking to him. I was like, there's no way he's a walrus in real life. Like, there's no way. Because she was just so chill talking to an animal.
Caregivers. Something I'm learning about Diane is Diane has never seen Space Jam in her life. Diane is acting like this is the first movie that has ever put talking animated animals and humans in the same world. Diane has never seen Mary Poppins. Diane has never seen Alvin and the Chipmunks. Diane has never seen Paddington. Diane has not seen these movies. And we should just start a prayer circle for her.
I have seen them.
Why are you so hung up on the fact that they're so naturally talking to these characters?
I think it was because the way they advertise it and the way because I didn't watch a trailer, but I did see advertising for this movie coming out. So I thought it was a full animation.
Okay.
I thought it was a full animation. So I was really confused. And then I was extra confused when they were just migrated their life so easily. Because the whole Kyle thing, he was like, he did not like Woody. So I was like, okay, did he just not know that there are talking birds? And then we got to the camp and everyone was way too cool with it.
Okay.
Because I was like, you're just talking to this strange bird you've never met before? Mm. And the first scene literally opens up with the Kyle influencer dude not being about this bird at all and acting like he doesn't know him and like, you know.
And so your only reaction is he must be a walrus man.
Woody is ready to go. Like, the camp is ending. Woody is like, oh, wait, I can't go home. But yeah, because now but I can't stay here.
Yeah. Wait, why can't he go home?
Because he got kicked out of the forest.
I thought that was just like if you could prove that you have teamwork, you can stay.
Yeah, but he's like, I ruined everything.
No,
I definitely didn't do teamwork.
Gold because of him.
So Angie comes and she goes, you know what? I think everyone, especially Woody, deserves this. And she gives him his teammate badge. And he's like all touched. He's like, look, I want it. Yay, look at me. So he goes back to the human ranger and he's like, look, I got the teamwork badge. And the ranger's like, good job, kid. And so he does his little annoying laugh that's like, and it does the kind of the Looney Tunes looking thing where it fades to black in a circle, which is so cute. And he like sticks his head out like this at the end. And you think that's the end because you're like, good, it wraps up.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie finds out that she's a good leader. Angie realizes maybe she's not real cousins with her cousin. Just kidding. It's a fully kid marriage. She does not get with her cousin. That's just what, you know.
Not me buying that for a second. I was like, for real?
You're like, wait. You're like, I knew I was onto something. No, and then Woody gets his teamwork thing, but he's also like, can I ever come back to camp? And they're like, yes. The weird artsy kind of kids feel like they finally belong and have a sense of self and more confidence because they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything wraps up nicely. We're like, good. But then it goes to the credits and then it comes back out because we need to find out what happened to Buzz. Right?
Do we?
So Buzz, so it shows that Buzz and his human friend from his prison mate, the helicopter crashed and there's like a bunch of rubble. And they like sit up and it's like in like a foresty area. And he sits up and he's like, oh my God, where are we? And Buzz is like, who cares where we are? Are we at least free? Because they broke out of prison, right? Short zoom out and it turns out they're not in a forest. They're in a parking lot. And there are police surrounding them. And then the police... the policemen see them in like the parking lot and he looks at Buzz and then he looks at this like sheet that he has and it says like most wanted and it's Buzz's face and he's like, oh, that was easy, like, oh, found him. and then it cuts out and that's the credits.
Okay.
It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's really good family friendly stuff. It said it was PG, I think. I don't know why. I would have rated it G.
No, because if you have antics like that, because not all kids can handle that kind of chaos. You see someone hanging from
that part was a little whoa.
A helicopter. I know a child who would find a helicopter just to hang off of it. Like there's certain like
it's so easy
elements
to
of
find
peril, like PG for sure. Like getting locked in a freezer. Like come on.
True. I will say.
I mean that moment for me was a little PG. So
yes. They do have a movie before this that now I kind of want to watch because I read the synopsis and Woody has to try to save the forest, his forest. So like the camp's not involved.
So he's already worked so hard to save his forest, and Kyle still wants to put up his boba Keurig. What's it called?
Yurt
Keurig.
Probably had a Keurig in there. Yeah, and that's why I read that after I saw this movie, and I was like, if he already saved his forest, why are they petitioning to kick him out now?
Exactly.
And
I like catch a break.
And I like that he's still very selfish. Like I like that he didn't like change his whole who he was as an annoying woodpecker.
Actually, I have a good tip on that. I took a screenwriting class at NYU and the professor, shout out Professor Shepard, amazing. He said characters grow, they don't change. And I have never forgotten that.
I really liked that. And even at the end, before the credits roll and everything, before the fade out with the circle, he goes and he shows Maggie, he's like, look, I made this, because he's a woodpecker, so out of wood he made this giant catapult. And because when he first met her, she was trying to make this catapult, and so she was like, you see, like, we're all good at different things, and with teamwork we can get what we want done. Because she was like, oh, in the beginning of the movie she's like, I don't know what to do. Teamwork. So then she's like, get in, and she like launches him, and that's when he flies through and it does the cute little zoom out. Cute. Yeah. So what'd you think?
I think we should stop trying to make movies about teamwork. They're so exhausting, and the end result is usually never even teamwork. But I think it sounds like a good time. It sounds like fun. It sounds like there's a lot of like that slapstick, like you said, slapstick humor.
There was some slapstick comedy.
Sounds really funny.
The acting's like a little cringy, like with like the adults and stuff every now and then, but like it's supposed to be because it's like very kiddie.
Yeah.
The kids were like, you could probably relate because they're like very stereotypical, different kinds of like weird or like.
And I will say, I do like a little found family story. That's cute. So like these kids are just like kind of have to like learn to like each other. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, I thought it was really cute that they had those 5 like main kids, and like at first they're all in a cabin together, and I'm like, co-ed cabin?
Oh, Oh, what?
Weird. And it's like all 5 of them together because they're all hanging out.
Oh.
And I was like, is it just 5 kids at the one camp then? Is that why? But then in later scenes, there's like 20 other kids at the camp. Like the woohoo camp. And I'm like, where are they? And I'm like, why isn't there more than one camp counselor then? Because it's just Angie running the place. Now, Camp Hoorah, they have camp counselors.
And I bet you
they have, like,
not have co-ed cabins. I bet everyone has their own room.
Yeah, probably. Zane has his own room, and he sleeps with a teddy bear and a nightlight. Aww, he's really cute. He was like, I need to turn the nightlight on after that scary story the one weird, moody girl told me.
Honestly, she would have scared me before the story, so I understand.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it.
Good.
It was pretty good.
That's good.
And he's a cute little cartoon.
Yeah. Better or worse than Wish? Because Diane has seen Wish now at this point. I made her watch it.
It is so, I don't know, it's completely different.
Yeah.
One is like Disney
animation,
animation.
And the other is
yeah. They both have a lot of plot missing.
But I feel like with the Woody the Woodpecker movie, the plot missing is kind of like the whole genre of the movie, right?
Yes.
Like that slapstick kind of genre. It's just kind of like you just have to suspend all disbelief and go with it.
And I do like that the bad guy was an animated bird, like a buzzard.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, because I thought they were gonna make the Camp Hoorah the bad guys, and I like that at the end of the day they're like, we're not bad
teamwork,
either.
Diane.
Yeah. Makes the dream work. So I'd say maybe I liked Woody better. Just because I thought I laughed more.
Right.
It was.
Yes,
they had
definitely.
They did have
really
yeah,
funny.
And they did have some funny sayings that were good. There was some stuff that like even the parents would find funny if you watch it. It was a good time.
Okay.
It was
maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah. It would be nice for like a movie night or rainy day.
So how you wanna send the friends off on this episode?
I wish they had like a camp cheer in the movie, because I would teach you.
Woo hoorah! Woo hoorah! I can make one up. What would
your weird camp persona be? Let us know. Would you be the weird bird kid?
Honestly, that probably would have been me, because I could see me just being this weird kid with like a special interest. Like,
what would your hyperfixation camp thing that would make you who you are?
I hated camp.
Bottom line,
I would have been basically my persona would probably be like the annoying girl who complained about being there. I don't know if that's like a camp persona.
That is.
There should be in movies. There should be like someone who's like, I don't want to be here. That was me.
There usually is. You know, I'm surprised they didn't have that one like kind of preppy girl or like that's like, ew, wilderness.
Who would you have been?
I went to sleepaway camp in the middle of nowhere in the woods.
Oh,
in Florida.
Did it have? I bet it didn't have no boba.
It didn't have AC.
Oh no.
We were out there in the wilderness with one giant fan that just oscillated at night. And
that's such an image. What a writer you are.
It was great. And we got eaten up alive by mosquitoes.
Okay, but what was your persona?
Well, so my 2 older sisters went there as well. And so we were like kind of like a bit of royalty because like they were camp counselors. Oh. And then I eventually became a camp counselor, and it was a small camp, and like sometimes my sisters would do like all of the sessions, so they would stay for like the whole summer, so you could do a week or 2 weeks, and it was sleepaway camp, and we already had horses, and it was a horse camp and stuff, and like the owner loved us and everything, so we weren't the cool kids, definitely not the cool kids, but we were kind of like where like the younger ones like went up to us, or like people would like come and be like, oh my god, hi guys, they wouldn't want to sit with us at lunch, but we were not cool.
You were like the president's daughter.
Kind of.
Like, everyone knows who you are, but, like, they probably don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah, but we're not, we were still, like, down, like, we were not cool. I remember I wanted to be with the cool kids.
Yeah.
But the cool kid that I thought was the cool girl, she was actually, like, the rebel girl.
Does she own a horse?
No.
She does not deserve that title.
Yeah.
You had horses.
I know. That's pretty cool.
The girl who has the horse should be the cool girl.
Yeah. Like, I think I just was, like, trying to be the girl that helped the little kids out. This was me being a nanny before I was a nanny.
You were.
I would be
so momming everyone.
I was momming everyone.
Oh my gosh, if we went to the same camp, you'd be like, honey, we're gonna get this tooth right out. Don't you worry. And
I would have been the tooth fairy too. I would have found you candy.
No, the other kids would have come to you like, you need to get this girl's tooth out because I could not hear her talk about it anymore. You'd have been like, I got it, just give me 2 hours.
Yeah, because like I went to camp and then sometimes it would be the girls' like first year. It's like if there's a girl, even if we were the same age, if it was like her first time at camp, I was like, I'm gonna be your angel.
Were you an RA in college?
No.
Missed opportunity.
I know. Missed opportunity. I would have been the coolest RA.
You know what's funny?
But I
was an RA in college. 1 year, I realized it was not for me.
I almost applied and then I heard how bad it was and how you're like always on call dealing with like drunk kids. I was like, I could do kids, I can't do college kids.
If this episode wasn't already so long, I could go into so many RA stories. We'll have to do like a whole like separate episode where we just talk about
because being locked in fridges and being camp counselors.
Y'all heard a lot of lore in this episode, and you're just gonna have to keep watching to hear it all parse out, because we'll probably just give you little bits in every episode coming forward.
Little bits. I loved camp. It was great.
I hated it.
I loved it.
Sorry,
I had so
parents.
many
I know y'all were the 2 working parents. I know you had to send me somewhere. I did love daycare. I had a pretty great daycare, but camp, no.
We can make a really good social video. I have a really good story. My sisters will hate me for it, but of us at camp, I have pictures, I have videos.
Exciting.
We can relive camp.
Follow us at Watching a Kid on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube Shorts. We'll throw it up here too, so don't worry, you won't get left out. But
you don't want to miss it. And let us know any of your camp stories.
Yeah.
Were you the kind of kid that talked to woodpeckers?
Were you the kind of kid who saw woodpeckers? Who sees woodpeckers?
I don't know.
Where are the outdoorsy kids?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. And also, Floridians, I still want to know what field trips y'all took. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And so I guess bye-bye our little Looney Tunes. And that's all, folks.
That's not a unicorn. That's just a pony with pink hair.